Well, hello all my beautiful friends out there in YouTube land, and welcome back to the Homestead.
The sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so bright, it's like
It's been a very long time since I've been with you, since I've made any videos. In fact, I was looking back to see just how long it was, and it was last like June or July that I actually made my last video on this channel. A lot has happened since then. I don't even really know where to start, but I do want to get back into making videos again. I do want to document our progress in our journey, and so there's a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to show you. Well, part of the reason I stopped making videos to begin with is because, if you remember, if you was here, we were building a house. And when you're building a house, when you're living in an RV with a family of 6 and you're building a house and you and your spouse are trying to make all the decisions and all this and that, it is rough. It's hard. I do not recommend it to anybody unless you know 100% you have a bulletproof, fireproof marriage. It will test you to the end, no doubt. That being said, we made it through and the house is done, and there it is. Now when I say done, I mean it's guy done. Okay, guy done means that it's good enough right now, but I still got a lot of projects to work on. For instance, we want to build a garage right here attached to the house, but we left it off during the initial build to save money because we needed all we had to go into this guy. So all of our time, all of our money was going into this house. I was working crazy stupid hours. I mean, I was probably putting 70, 80 hours of overtime every 2 weeks, and so I guess that breaks down to about an extra 40 hours overtime a week. So I was working about 80-hour weeks. A lot of those were 16-hour days. And I would leave in the morning before the sun came up, and I would come home at night after the sun was already down, and it was rough. But we managed to get the house done, and not too far out of budget. Well, I guess that's a relative term. Not too crazy out of budget, and that's why I was working so much, because everything that was out of budget I had to pay for in cash out of my own pocket. And here's the back of the house. And here in a minute, I'll take you inside, give you a real quick look around. I'll give you a brief walkthrough of the main living area. Basically, guys, I was struggling just to maintain, just to keep the grass cut, let alone make any progress on clearing more forest areas or tending to gardens. I planted a few things here and there. I'd plant them, and then I'd be able to tend to them like once a week, and everything would just die. It would get eaten by bugs, it'd get eaten by deers. We'd have a dry spell and I wasn't there to water it, and I was just spinning my wheels. So I just chilled for this last year, just worked my tail off, got the house done, and now we're kind of getting into our rhythm, you know. My work schedule has settled down a little bit. I'm not working quite as much overtime. I've got a set schedule every day. I've got a couple of hours set aside every day to work on the land here, clearing more land, getting gardens in. I got so much to do, y'all. We've got a chicken coop to build. We've got more land to clear, trees to fall, brush to cut. I don't even know if I ever showed you guys the DR mower I got. It's been probably 2.5 years since I had that. That thing is a beast, and that is helping me clear so much land. I'm going to give you a quick walk around through the and show you, it was all like thick woods like that. See this right here? Thicker than that, because some of that's the vines and brush have been cleared from there. But it is really starting to shape up, and from here on out going forward, I'm going to be making regular videos. Don't know what kind of schedule we're going to put myself on, but I'm going to start getting videos out more regular, because sometimes it's just nice for me, my family, or even if it's just me, to sit back, I go back, I watch old videos. I see my kids growing up. I started this channel when Skylin, my third child, was just like 1 year old, and Catherine was pregnant with our fourth child, Jesselyn. Skylin's now 8, Jesselyn's now 6, and they are awesome. They're my big helpers. My 2 older kids, which were like 8 and 9 when we start, 9 and 10 when we started. They're now 17 and 18, getting ready to graduate and get out of the house. Guys, it's crazy. So it's really awesome to have those videos to go back and watch the progress. Just coming out here to my dock, walking the gangplank. The tide is really down low, and the water's pretty clear. We haven't had much rain lately. This is kind of our dry season of the year, so there's not a lot of silt stirring up the water. But something has been playing around right there, digging a hole. We did lose a couple of trees last year. The trees themselves have been cut up for a while, but these stumps are sitting here. They're cut off from everything that was attaching them to the grass and the land, but they are big and they're heavy. And I gotta get my truck back here so I can hook those up and drag them out. But we've got plans for the dock to start working on fixing that up. I know how I'm going to do it, what I'm going to use, the tools and everything. I want to do most of it myself. Might end up having to get a professional dock company to actually come sink me a couple more pylons, because we're missing a few, but the rest of them are still out there. I just got to get them straight, plumb, and reattach the decking boards, and we can get that dock back in order. Things are starting to pop up. I'm getting excited about that. But I'm going to take you back here to the land and show you some of the stuff I've been working on. I thought moving out here to this raw land, clearing and cutting down this old thick forest, but leaving the trees like a silvopasture setting. Like you see, leaving all the big trees. You see I got good grasses starting to grow in some areas. This looks like grass, but it's just vines. This ground is the most difficult thing I could ever possibly imagine to try and work with as far as putting in gardens. There is layers and layers of vines. This is not regular ground. This is 3 to 4 inches of vines, tree roots, the vines that used to climb the trees. So this has been cut down 100 times. When you see these vines wanting to come back, those vines have an expansive network of roots that are basically still just vine underground, and it is a tangled spider's web, and they don't break easy, they don't pull up easy. It is a fight to get every foot of vine out of this ground. Now, with many hours of hard work and toil, I've managed to get this small garden bed actually broken up and tilled up. There's no such thing as putting in a no-till, lasagna layered kind of garden here. Even if you put 10 inches of, even if you put down layers of cardboard, 10 inches of compost, hay on top of that, and you built this thing up a foot off the ground with just layers of stuff, these vines are relentless. They will push their way through that cardboard. I guarantee you, they will get into that soil. They will choke out whatever you have here. I've tried many different things. I have a rototiller. I've got a hoe. I've got, basically the rototiller just clogs up with vines. The hoe doesn't really bite enough. I used a pitchfork trying to use it kind of like a broad fork. That just bent and then broke my pitchfork. Guys, I had to get out here with my axe and just chop and chop and chop and chop until I just chewed up this ground with the axe and turned all those vines into short little pieces that weren't connected to each other anymore, and had to pull them all out by hand. And some of these vines, guys, I'm telling you, even the root that goes under the ground is full of thorns. It is ridiculous. Nonetheless, I've got this in. I've got these ready to plant. I'm going to see how things do. I want to see how those seeds do in those buckets, but I put a lot of seeds in each one, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to thin those out. So I'm saving these rows, so when I have to thin out those cloth buckets, I got a place to put those seed starts. But if you look over my shoulder, guys, I don't remember what you saw last, but all this used to be super thick woods, and I've got it cleared to a very pleasant tree to open area ratio, silvopasture, whatever you want to call it. And the grasses are growing. Now, I actually just recently, in fact, 2 days ago, I just fell a couple more trees that I thought those right up here was still a little too thickly populated with trees. But if you remember, my dad came over, man, it's been 2.5, 3 years ago, shortly after we moved out here, and helped me. We had a path coming through these woods over here because all this was just thick woods. Path come through this woods, and this area right here was thick, but not quite as thick, because obviously whoever lived in this house back in the 70s was the last time anyone lived there. This was their backyard. It was fairly clean. We did cut down a lot of trees, but they were all very small saplings, 10, 15 foot tall, maybe 3, 4, 5 inches in diameter. And we created this, and then I planted back here. But when you clear really wet, we're in Florida, so this is like virgin forest land that stays very wet. The soil stays very the decomposition is very anaerobic without oxygen, so it's very, very acidic, and nothing grew back here. And I still have the old shack, haven't torn it down. Oh, but you can see the amount of grass that has grown in here. And I would say this is probably the 3rd season. So I think it's had 2 full seasons with the trees cut out, and I've mowed it a couple of times, not a lot. And yeah, the grass is there. You just get all the brush and the trees cut out of the way, and those grass seeds will start to grow. So as we come around this shack, from here forward used to be just solid, thick woods that you couldn't hardly see 10 feet into. And now it is very thin, very cleared. We've taken down a lot of trees, but just a lot of brush, vines, and saplings. And again, several trees that just got felled yesterday back here that I got to keep processing and get this stuff mulched up. But yeah, this is really getting opened up back here, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think pretty sure that one day this is where we'll put a barn, because this right here is probably about the middle of my property. I've probably got just as much property that way as I do that way. That way's the river, that way is the road. I've just been taking it one section at a time. I'll go through with my chainsaw, and I'll just mow a bunch of stuff down, saplings and whatnot, and then cutting the vines down low from the ground first, and then swinging the chainsaw over my head to try and cut as many vines that are dangling from the branches of the trees as I can. And then I bring in the DR bush hog, baby, and that thing just chews everything up. I mean, it's just I mean, it'll take trees, you know, about yay big around, a good 2 inches, and it'll just turn them into wood shavings. It's awesome. There's more sections here. Come up here. We've called this place the Oak Circle. If you look up, you've got several large oaks kind of surrounding this larger open area. Everywhere where you see it's green and it's grass, that was cleared and cut probably 2 years ago or last year. Everywhere where you're still seeing it's brown, it's because this was cut this winter. And by the end of this summer, all of this brown stuff, it'll be green like the rest of that stuff. You know, for a while, you guys, I actually thought that I was done with YouTube. Wasn't going to make any more videos. I was getting real disheartened with the build, real stressed out. Couldn't possibly imagine putting any effort and time into making videos. And we're a homesteading channel. And I wasn't even doing any homesteading, you know. I was just having a house built. But now, getting back into things, and the fire for getting self-sufficient is reignited inside of me. And I'm really looking forward to getting our chicken coop built, getting chickens out here, getting more land cleared. The plan is to get some sheep out here, let them rotate with the chickens, and keep areas mowed down, maybe use them to clear fresh areas, and just, you know, start experimenting. I've got all this river cane here, which is really beautiful, but when it dies, man, it makes a mess. But I actually have a really cool thing I'm going to start doing with that river cane. Hopefully it'll allow us to make some more money. This trail right here that I'm walking down, we've decided we're actually going to make this our driveway one day. Not anytime soon, but you see how beautiful this is. Coming through underneath these big oaks. I mean, let me show you what we drive down currently. And that's just boring and dirty and dusty and plain. So yeah, we're gonna make this our driveway. So that's gonna be all for today, you guys. I just wanted to kind of say hello again, get you guys kind of caught up, quick walk around, and let you know we're coming back. We're gonna continue to share our lives with you. I know there's a lot of you that care and want to see it. I got a lot of family that watch my videos, friends from church and work that watch my videos. And then if there happens to be anybody else out there in YouTube land that wants to get some ideas of things they could do, I do like to try a lot of crazy stuff out from time to time and just see what works. And you know, maybe you'll grab something that can help you. That's going to be all for this video. But hang in there. There's lots more coming. Appreciate you. I'm happy to be back. Looking forward to the future. We're going to grow our own food. We're going to be self-sufficient. We're going to live from our land as much as possible. And we're just going to watch God bless. So, God bless you, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.